I've become so self-aware that when I'm about to lie to myself or cope, it feels like I'm spitting myself in the face. And by this video, I want you to be able to feel the same thing. Be disgusted by your own sabotage or your coping. So I've been self-reflecting for the past 4 years, but it's actually like the past few months that I made a breakthrough. And I dedicate this breakthrough to this 6-step process that I'm about to tell you. And I promise you that if you follow these steps autistically, you will become so self-aware that you physically can't lie to yourself. Now, step number 1 is obvious. You heard this before, I've heard it. But I know things today that I didn't know then. So I just want you to turn off your brain and do these steps. Step number 1 is define who you want to be. And I don't mean like writing down your vision, how this ideal self is living. I want you to write down how this person behaves, acts, and reacts to every situation. And you probably already have a sense of who this person is, how this person behaves. Because every time you do things that are not aligned with this ideal self, your chest tightens, your energy lowers. Step number 2 is to read this every day. You constantly need to remind yourself of who this person is. And this brings me to step number 3. What are you doing today that is not aligned with this person? Because if you read this manifest or this definition of this person every day, you will be better at catching yourself when you're not behaving this way. You need to understand this, that every time you're not aligned with this ideal self, you're not behaving this way, you are sabotaging. And why you're sabotaging, what this low self-esteem comes from, what this self-worth based on performance or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's sabotage. If you're not behaving like the ideal self, you are sabotaging. And the truth is that if you're not reminding yourself every day of who this person is, you will outsmart yourself. And this is step number 5. You need to understand that you will outsmart yourself. Your ego is smart enough to press the right buttons that will make you crumble. So what you can add to your arsenal is your emotions. Because I told you just a minute ago, you can physically feel when you're not aligned. When you're not behaving like the person you want to become, you're not feeling that well. But still, your ego will rationalize these emotions, this feeling, or this doubting into ways to make you escape these emotions and make you feel a little better about yourself. But once again, you need to catch yourself. Now, the last step is to simply just be disgusted by not acting like this person. And that step will come by its own. Because when you are self-aware enough and you don't let your ego rationalize this doubting you become disgusted. And it's actually as simple as that. I don't like the title of the book, Thinking and Grow Rich. Because you can't simply think yourself out of your old self. But what's right is that it starts with thinking. It starts with a decision. But you need to act. You need to act in the complete opposite way that your old self is behaving. I've said this before, that you can't trust yourself. And this only implies if you let your ego decide. But if you become self-aware enough, you can start trusting yourself again. But currently, if you are not self-aware enough that you can agree with me here that your ego is deciding, you can't trust yourself. So you simply need to write down on a paper who the person you want to become and act.